Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's video, as you can tell by the title, is no more about the large storm, the major storm that is still occurring, and definitely keep your eye to the forecast in National Weather Service. But today's video, we're going to be talking about a potential pattern change that will be occurring late this week into next week, and there's still a lot of solving to do with this pattern change. A lot of things could go wrong, a lot of things could change, but I wanted to give you the biggest and best update I can. So I decided to make this update. Now again, this is, if you are new, hello and welcome. This is basically a meteorology channel. I'm a hobbyist, not a meteorologist. Do not make official forecasts. I'm a weather enthusiast. I do this for the fun of it. So just watch the video. If you like it, consider subscribing, and it's free, and you could always unsubscribe. And then if you're a returning viewer and you like this channel, consider liking. Let's get into this video. So first off, I just want to show you the European and just go straight into this. Just show you what may be occurring, what the European model thinks may be happening. So really this week is going to be warm, especially for the east, really I should say just much of the United States. And really that a cool-off may start to occur. You can see across the northern North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, but the cool down doesn't make it that far to the south. You can see it kind of dwindles out, and the heat takes its place. And really, the only area where it is slightly cooler is parts of the Northwest, Washington, Idaho, Oregon. That's about it, though. And if you were to wonder why this cool down is occurring, that's because of this big storm we had. It did strengthen itself enough to where a cool down would be occurring across the upper northern states to the north, upper plains, but really nowhere else. That's fine though, because that's not the cool off we're talking about. The cool off that we're talking about, this pattern change, is comes into play only this weekend. So you can see that we see warm temperatures. There's just no way around it. Up until at least the mid-August, up until the 15th, 16th, it's going to be warm and it's going to be hot. It's August, and usually August for many is actually the hottest month for some locations. And we're slowly starting to cool off, but the heat is definitely still packing a punch across much of the northern United States. And it's actually interesting. I saw this map and it showed areas like Montana and the West as seeing their highest temperatures in August. So it's really not as straightforward as it seems. But regardless, you could see that by Saturday and into this weekend, we start seeing like the cooler air that was across the Northwest and Western Canada, British Columbia, Alberta, those provinces. We start seeing the cooler air drift into the central United States. And this is the ensemble members, the EPS, so this is more of an averaged look. But they have been a bit reluctant to show this cool down, especially to the extent as what the European is showing it. But you can see it brings this cooler air into the upper Midwest, into upper plains, and into portions of really the Midwest by next Tuesday, Wednesday. And this is where as far as we go. Now, this may not look overly impressive. This may not look like a large pattern change at all. But if we switch it to the European model, which is a very highly regarded model, and usually it goes out always to 240 hours. So usually what it does show has a little bit more confidence than what the GFS shows. But obviously it's a model, basically change and not unreliability. Sorry about that. I stutter on my words sometimes. Is basically in its name. So you can see that we see this cool down, this initial one, get into as far south as maybe Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, but it really slows down just like the ensemble showed it. We see heat Friday, Saturday, Sunday, still pretty warm, but then you can see it starts in Montana. Really starts in Washington. This whole week is going to be cool for the state of Washington, Idaho. But then by Saturday, Sunday, we start seeing the cool air move into Montana, North Dakota, and this really spreads and actually kind of widens itself. And in fact, this one is supposed to make it pretty far to the east. You can see even portions of coastal Northeast, New England are going to be seeing this. The southern U.S. Really not seeing much of a relief. It's going to be above average, and the cool air is not really going to get there. Same with the southwest, it doesn't look like if the cool air is really gonna get there. It looks as if it's mainly gonna be the west, the northwest, the north, the central plains, the midwest, and the east coast. Not necessarily the south or the southwest. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it's still gonna be a noticeable change for those areas where they do see it. Now, the interesting thing is that the GFS is really reluctant to show this. So let's take it through this whole time frame. Notice it has cooler air across the northern, I guess, northwestern United States and into southwestern Canada. But it really just keeps it there. Monday, Tuesday, it doesn't bring it down like the European at this time. Hour 2:10, Tuesday, August 18th, would be now bringing this cooler air down into much of the United States, into the upper plains and east. But the GFS has a different story. It's really just showing very warm temperatures, not much indicative of any cool down. Granted, this is the HPA temperature anomaly, so it's at a certain pressure, but usually it reflects pretty well what's going on the ground. You can see the GFS has been a bit finicky with its daytime temperatures. It kind of shows them a bit cooler than they actually are, but really no big cool off with the GFS, and that's really been pretty consistent. So you can see there's still a little bit to be determined. The GFS is consistently showing warm temperatures, while the European has been showing consistently cool. I showed you this model run, but with the European. But if we were to take it even to yesterday's model run, let's go back to Saturday's model run. You can see that. Well, no, maybe this one wasn't, but I remember to recall, I promise you, there was a model run. There was several model runs that were already showing this cool down. You can see this one was showing a cooldown, so this has been pretty consistent. I don't know how far back it goes. I'm assuming it didn't go as far back as Friday, yeah. But many model runs already have been showing this, and it's been pretty as consistent as the GFS with its warmth, but with the European on its cool side. The Climate Prediction Center 8 to 14 day outlook. You can see they mentioned a chance of cooler air across the southern, really further south than what the European is showing. But it seems limited. But again, the Climate Prediction Center is kind of taking both of these models into account, and they're basically giving you the average as they don't know, we don't know, no one knows what's actually going to occur and which model is going to be more right. Now we could theorize and say, oh, this one has a good point. And usually the European is the one that's more highly regarded, because for these forecasts, it's 25% Canadian, 25% European, 25% GFS, and then 50% European. So you could see that they definitely mention an area of cooler weather for 8 to 14 to 6 to 10. Just mentions an area of normal, but generally they are still favoring a above average pattern. Now this video is titled Very Interesting because this is not all that's going to be occurring. You could see that we could be looking at some well, you can't really tell just off the preset map, but the European shows some pretty interesting scenarios in terms of precipitation. I just want to show you the surface anomalies, because what I was showing you on Tropical Tidbits was higher in atmosphere. Now I just want to show you what we could see. This was in the thermodynamics, so I want to show you just what's in the surface and precipitation. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. You can see that into this weekend we have a little brief cool off across the upper Midwest. The eastern United States and southern United States stay warm. But as we move this forward, you can see that the European actually shows this cool off across the Midwest, kind of actually getting farther than what the GFS shows. But again, nothing really too significant, and it's really not noticeable. The warmth definitely dominates this week, I would say, excluding extreme portions of the Northwest. Anywhere else, it's safe to say it'll be warmer, unless you're under a shower or a thunderstorm. Obviously, you're not going to be under a thunderstorm the whole day, but sometimes they bring enough cool air to just kind of bring a cap on the temperatures for that day. And you can see we start seeing those a little more extreme-like anomalies across the British Columbia area. And then if we move this into time, Saturday, Sunday, we start seeing some 15 to 14 degree temperature anomalies, which would be pretty chilly actually. That would probably lead to some 50s and 40s during the overnights. And you can see this is way more broad, and we actually have quite a bit of area of cooling off. And the European actually brings us as far south as the Gulf Coast almost. But the European also brings it as far east as the East Coast. So that's also some good news. Really, the West may not get a lot out of this. Wyoming, northeastern Colorado may, but California, Nevada, Arizona just don't look too good with this. So that's a bit unfortunate, as they kind of want some of that cool weather. But I also want to point out, as I was saying, there's some interesting stuff with some storm systems going on. So right now we could see we have this big storm that is occurring that I talked about, 987 across. Really, it's now crossing kind of into Saskatchewan. And it is definitely delivering showers and thunderstorms across much of the Midwest, and it will continue to do so into Monday as you're watching this video. And you can see that the European is still showing us two squall lines right there. So if you're watching this Monday and it's in the evening, you may be seeing some thunderstorms. If it's the midday, it's going to be pretty active with some showers and thunderstorms. As we get towards Wednesday, you can see we see a couple more maybe lines forming of showers, but really not associated with a large system. We see a smaller one trying to develop Thursday into Friday, which generates a bit of precipitation, but really it's kind of disorganized. You can see we have a kind of a potential storm right here and another weird, I guess, storm to the north. But this is where things get really interesting. So we have the cooler area to the north, and look, this develops into like this really, really tight low pressure. I mean, usually big storms are like this, wide areas, large surface. Look at this one. This one is very tight. It's strong. It's powerful, but it's not really big. And you can see that this would be right over Illinois into Chicago. And what's even more interesting, we see kind of a storm to the north pick up some of this. We see a pretty large band to the north across Minnesota, Wisconsin. Again, this is all still in the making, right? But it's just interesting to see that these two almost kind of combine. We see a very large precipitation shield across Ontario, and then we start seeing this smaller, tight, really tight storm moving into portions of southern Canada, into Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa. All these cities will be under the gun for some rain out of this, and you can see that this moves into the northeast. New York City, Boston also seeing some rain, and this is pretty large system. It has a nice comma shaped, and along with this would the cooler temperatures come. So this is possibly another storm that would warrant its own video, so definitely something we have to keep an eye on for. But overall, pretty exciting. But again, it could also be dangerous with flooding and severe weather. Let's take a look at the southern U.S. I had the map a little bit farther to the north. Southern U.S., the biggest factor, possibly a low pressure developing off the coast. That's not really going to impact in terms of heavy rain, but some pop-up showers will be likely throughout the day. You could see really throughout most of this week we could be looking at some pop-up showers like we've been seeing for the past couple of days. So that definitely could lead to some flooding. Usually though, those aren't severe, but they definitely could turn, like we saw a couple of them today. That's basically it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.